Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next Friday Rambling. And it is the first of our Halloween trilogy. That's right, it is the spooky season, even though it is still September. Because there's nothing wrong with starting a little early. Especially when you're retail, because they put their stuff out in like late July. Whatever. Different rant for a different time. This is happy time. This is positive time because we're discussing something very nice. This is a little bit of follow-up for a previous Halloween Rambling, which we do encourage everybody to check out if you have not caught them in years past. And at the same time, is also something different. Yes, folks, as the title spoiled for you, because the titles love to spoil things for you, we're discussing Poltergeist the Legacy. Now, Poltergeist the Legacy is not a weird name for the reboot movie. It is not some new video game, although that could be interesting one day. Some sort of Poltergeist IP video game. Yeah. Not sure how it would come out, but certainly something to think about. No, this is the TV show. That's right, there was a TV show using the Poltergeist license. However, like the Friday the 13th series that we discussed, it is not directly connected to the movie trilogy, which we also previously discussed. See? It's a follow-up to things we've discussed before. So why is it called Poltergeist? Because they were willing to slap the name on a TV show to draw in viewers. It happened. As we said, it happened with the Friday the 13th series. And it actually does have a couple tiny little plot point similarities to the Friday the 13th series as well. But that's just the nature of the fact that there's only so many plots you can write involving the supernatural. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, folks, because that's what we do here on the Ramblings. We do not try to take all day. Poltergeist the Legacy is a horror genre television series which ran from 1996 to 1999. The series tells the stories of the members of a secret society known as the Legacy and their efforts to protect humankind from occult dangers. Poltergeist the Legacy debuted on Showtime as part of a handful of sci-fi themed series that they did in the 90s. When sci-fi kind of made a big comeback as a genre. And all first-run episodes of the first 3 seasons premiered on that network, though they were later syndicated. After the 3rd season, Showtime canceled the show and the rights were purchased by Sci-Fi Channel, which continued the series for another season before canceling it again. That also happened to another sci-fi series that started on Showtime and immigrated to Sci-Fi. It lasted a little bit longer, though. Those who know. Those who don't, go ahead and fuss at me on social media or in the comments if you can't figure it out. Because it is the season to be a little evil. Now, the show ran for 4 seasons and had a total of 88 episodes. It was created by Richard Barton Lewis under the PMP Legacy Production Company and MGM Television. So good times. We do like MGM, very deep history. Basic idea of the Legacy series is that in England in the 6th century, the Legacy was established to collect dangerous and ancient knowledge and artifacts, solve paranormal problems, and protect humanity from supernatural evils. Collecting artifacts. Great TV show hook. Over time, the membership expanded around the world, and as the Legacy grew, it established branches in other cities and countries that would become known as Legacy Houses, staffed by small teams of specialist members, which, of course, is a nice little parallel to real-world fraternities and sororities, where they have chapters and houses, but they're part of a greater organization. You see, taking real life organizational concepts and applying them to your fictional organization to make it easier for audiences to understand and get hooked. That's good writing. That's how you do things. Now, each house is ruled by a precept. Ooh, again, kind of a very familiar concept, as I was saying before. The precept wears a signet ring engraved with a distinctive L, and it marks them kind of as their sign of rank. Although other houses are mentioned and occasionally seen in the series, most of the action centers on the San Francisco house run by Derek Rain. The San Francisco house itself is a castellated mansion on Angel Island in San Francisco Bay. Angel Island, in real life, is included within the Angel Island State Park and is considered a California historical landmark. San Francisco House operates under the guise of the Luna Foundation, a philanthropic institution that collects artifacts and antiquities. Your rundown on the members of the San Francisco House. The previously mentioned precept, Dr. Derek Rain, who holds doctorates in anthropology and theology. You have former Navy SEAL Nick Boyle, the psychometric Alex Moreau, short for Alexandra. Alex also serves the legacy as a researcher. We have, appearing in seasons 1, 2, and 4, Father Philip Callaghan, a Roman Catholic priest and linguist from Ireland. Dr. Rachel Corrigan, a psychiatrist, who is introduced in the pilot episode and joins the team because, again, classic TV show concept. You start the show introducing a new member, which gives you excuses for exposition dumping and getting into character backstories because, hey, I don't know this about this character, I just met them. Very convenient, very classic writing. Not judging. In fact, a little bit praising because they were following established, guaranteed successful base formulas. Dr. Rachel Corrigan also had a daughter, Catherine Corrigan, usually referred to as Kat, who is 8 years old at the beginning of the series and tends to visit the mansion and get drawn into their adventures. You also got occasional appearances in Season 2 from the head of the ruling house in London, William Sloane. And in the final 2 seasons, another new member, an anthropologist, joined named Kristen Adams. Good times, good times. As many 90s shows did, due to good tax breaks, the series was filmed in Vancouver and Victoria, British Columbia. Originally, following the conclusion of Poltergeist: The Legacy, there was informally discussed plans to create a spin-off series in 2000 under the name Poltergeist: The Beginning. However, these plans were never materialized and were abandoned in 2002 officially. So even though Sci-Fi only ran the show for an additional season, it was apparent that they did have plans to continue with that fictional world. Kind of makes sense, you know, it's like, hey, we want our own programming, we'll start with this show, run it just long enough to, you know, get people to kind of start identifying it as a sci-fi channel property, and then we shift into our own fully original work. Not a bad business plan in theory, but again, it never quite got launched off the ground. So, how can you watch Poltergeist Legacy? Well, you could do as I did and purchase the complete series DVD set. Look at that beauty. Look at it. Got that MGM logo. Whoop. Look at that. Nice. I like how they do this where, and yes, this is turning to a bit of a review of the DVD set, but I did want to touch on it because there's nothing wrong with physical media. I know we all like our streaming, it's super convenient, but physical media's got its advantages. I like how they do this, where it's a series of individual little sleeves, because you don't have that little, that was a loud snap, that little popping problem where you gotta put the little thing down and pull the disc around. You try not to bend it. No, you just pull the sleeve out, go, put it back. You don't have also with those little snap holders, like a series of them working on hinges, and you got to worry about the hinge snapping because it's all plastic, and thin pieces of plastic can eventually snap. It's very nicely made. You know, I prefer something like this to some of the other sets I've got that have that whole little hinge and snap system, and they don't last long term. That'll last you longer. Good packaging. Good. Fortunately, this is not one of those shows where they call it the complete series. Well, because there was a super controversial episode, it's technically not the complete series. Nope, this is in fact everything. Good times, good times. So what about the individual episodes? Let's run through them real quick and see. Whoop, put that back. Don't need that prop anymore. Let's see what we can get into. Some fun episodes you might enjoy. From Season 1, you have such classics as Town Without Pity, in which you go ahead and get some time travel shenanigans with an 18th century commune. An old friend and ex-member returns for Derek's help in translating an ancient scroll in the 12th Cave. A trio of Catholic students summon a vengeful spirit in The Substitute, inspired by the story The Hand by Theodore Dreiser, American novelist and journalist of the National School. And let's see what some other good ones. You know what, we're not going to go into too many because I don't want to spoil too much of it for you. I will say that the final episode of Season 1 was a clip show called A Traitor Among Us. Not the worst thing to do, but, you know. This was before the major idea kicked in of, well, not even really before, because, yeah, I mean, kind of. It didn't become super traditional yet, because it was still the 90s, but before the idea of, like, having a season finale be a major cliffhanger, like, this doesn't get resolved till Season 2, Poltergeist The Legacy wasn't big on that. Unlike, say, The X-Files, which I'm a huge fan of as well, which started doing that almost from the get-go, and frankly, it could get annoying as a fan, especially in the last few seasons, where the season premiere kept starting later and later in the calendar year, so you had a longer gap between that part 1 and 2. Suspense just becomes annoyance and impatience. But yes. Season 2, we have such wonderful things as Black Widow, which features a succubus, a shaman in Spirit Thief, a kidnapping resulting in the request of an item that bestows immortality as the ransom price in Ransom. Fun with Ouija boards in Lullaby, an episode featuring the aforementioned child cat. Leading up to Season 3. Let's see, what are some good ones in Season 3? You have the coming of the aforementioned Kristen in The Enlightened One. Darkness Falls, where we have fun with vampires. Dream Lover should speak for itself. Concert Pianist, under the thrall of a mysterious agent in The Prodigy. And Armies of the Night, wherein the legacy is besieged by unknown assailants. Finally, in Season 4, we get wonderful episodes Sorry about that. I had to double check a couple things. My list here is not the best, but not a super detailed one. Once again, try not to go into super spoilers here. Season 4 features such things as wishful thinking when we uncover a genie, who, of course, being America, and we love our Barbara Eden, it is a female genie. Although not nearly as awesome and not nice as Barbara Eden, because it's a drama show. Brother's Keeper, in which when one of the damned tries to escape from hell, he seeks help from members of the Legacy House. This taking advantage of the fact that they were now on Sci-fi, which at the time was airing WWE programming, involved a guest star from WWE's resident supernatural legend, The Undertaker. Good times, good times. All leading up to the final couple episodes, such as the Mephisto strain, where Nick becomes infected by a demonic parasite, Infernal Affairs, in which a troublesome deck of ancient tarot cards tests the sanity of the legacy agents, and The Beast Within, where Precept Derek is plagued by nightmares centering around his father's spirit. Let's wrap this up, folks, because again, frankly, I don't want to go too much into this without spoiling really specific plot points. And I don't want to do that because I want you to watch the show, not feel like, oh, I saw this review, I don't really need to see the show. And that is why you should watch the show. Well, it was part, as I said before, of that run of 90s sci-fi television that really helped revive the genre. Well, sci-fi slash horror. Things like The X-Files and Poltergeist: The Legacy paved the way and reintroduced people to the fun of the supernatural on a weekly basis, so you could have things like Supernatural and Vampire Diaries. Not going to give them too much credit for stuff like The Walking Dead, because that's based off a comic series, and that's zombies, and they're kind of almost their own complete side genre of horror. Not going to go that far. But yes, these 90s shows, as I said, tended to be filmed on a relatively low budget. Feature a lot of practical effects because of said low budget. Not to mention the fact that in the 90s, look, CGI just really wasn't as impressive as it is now. And as such, yeah, while the shows can look dated and look a lot alike, because of them all filming in Vancouver and British Columbia, again, tax breaks. And don't judge them too much now, because you still see that nonsense in movies. Big Hollywood movies still seek that stuff. That's why everybody had that run where anything involving the outdoors had to film in New Zealand. I mean, good idea, beautiful country. But when you've seen the same mountain range in multiple people's franchises, it kind of pulls you out. Still, it can make a fun party game with your friends. See how many different shows you can recognize the same street corners and buildings from. But at its core, Poltergeist: The Legacy was a fun romp of supernatural drama that had a little bit of investigating, a little bit of old-fashioned horror, little bit of character development and character relationships growing and evolving over time. And best of all, a show that, and I think this is where a lot of things kind of miss the mark these days, especially with like original streaming stuff, because they're so, I don't want to say desperate, but kind of needy to get original shows to be popular. You know, the ones that catch on naturally and organically, great for them. But they all want to treat themselves like they're these big epics. Shows like Poltergeist: The Legacy, yeah, they wanted viewers, but they also knew what they were. You know? It started off on Showtime, a side network. You know, you didn't get Showtime with this basic cable package in the 90s. You had to pay a premium package to get Showtime included. They knew their audience was inherently finite. There's only so many people in America that were going to pay extra to get Showtime, especially to watch a specific TV show. And with that, meant they had to embrace what they were. Their actors gave 100%. The writers worked with what scripts they could generate every week, and more importantly, get approved by the network. Because I don't care what network you're on, I don't care what streaming app you're on, you got to get your stuff approved by higher ups. Somebody's job is to specifically say whether or not they want that kind of content on their platform. And again, nothing against that person. It's a very important job. Keep things under control. Don't let folks get too out there. That's how you get nonsense that just is just being done just for the sake of doing it. But more importantly, at 88 episodes, even for an hour-long drama, you know, without commercials, it's going to run you more about 45 minutes or so. Actually, wait, no. Showtime didn't have commercials in between their shows, so it probably is closer to a full hour. Either way, even at an hour, you're only looking at 88 hours. That's something that, if you start now, you could have binged before it's time for Thanksgiving. Might run you a little bit past Halloween by a few days, but if you make the time, you can get through this whole show relatively quickly. That's one of the advantages of shows that did not last 10, 12 seasons. You can get through them pretty quick. But it's still going to have enough content that when it's all said and done, you're not going to feel like, man, I can't believe that was the whole series. Like, at 88 episodes, it's still going to feel like enough stuff. You're like, yeah, no, that was a story. That was a journey. We went on an adventure. With that, I'm going to say, happy Halloween. And please, as I said before, check out Poltergeist Legacy. If you're not a big physical DVD fan, let me just check real quick. I know I should have had this done ahead of time, but you know what? I'm not a paid professional here, folks. Let's see. Poltergeist. Alright, so you can watch Poltergeist The Legacy on, if you like things streaming. And again, we don't judge you if you do. You can watch it on the Roku Channel app, all 4 seasons. Or you can watch, if you're not worried about running the whole thing, hold on. Let me sit here and calm down. Okay, it's got the first 2 seasons. Sorry. Not the best layout in the world. It's got the first 2 seasons on Pluto TV. So, if you're a fan of Pluto TV, you know, give the first season or 2 a watch. See if it grabs you. Either way, it is available on 2 platforms that are, more importantly, free to watch. Yep, that's right. No heavy subscription fee to access on these, folks. Don't even need one of those little VPNs. You know, they're always talking about that. You know, oh, get the VPN. Pretend you're in another country. Get access to this content. Don't even have to go that far. Pluto TV, Roku channel, free apps. Access them. Enjoy. You can even watch Pluto TV on a classic browser if you want to sit there and chill out on your desktop or laptop. So go for it. It's right there. Have a good watch. And come back in October because we're going to have a regular October Friday Rambling. And more importantly, look at my little calendar here. We will actually have a Thursday Rambling because we're going to have an episode that will debut on Halloween itself because we love Halloween here. And remember, as always, I encourage you to check out our archives. I have a wonderful playlist of all of the Halloween-themed ramblings we've done over the years. So you can check back on all the things we've discussed before, fill in the gaps before our new episodes drop this year, or just to verify whether or not I've talked about your favorite piece of spooky, scary Halloween media. See you when I see you, folks, and till then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and until November 1st, stay spooky. Bye-bye, folks.